Jenny Dugmore and Shirley Lacey talking about ISO 20000 and the new 2011 revision. One of the questions that we get asked about by customers is about how different standards work together and how they can be integrated. So if we take the most well-known standard, most highly used standard 9001, Shirley, perhaps would you like to explain the relationship between ISO 9001 and ISO 20000?
Yes, I mean, generally speaking, 9001, a whole organisation will go for 9001 to demonstrate that it's applying business best practices. But I think it's quite product-oriented and can be quite generic. What we find with service management, and particularly technology-enabled service management, there is a lot around how do you deliver good service and continual improvement around that service. So 20,000 is more specific in that space, and you could view it as more challenging. So in my experience, organisations may have 9001, but still their services or their technology-enabled services aren't really being delivered to the level we need them to be. And that's where organisations use 20,000. And they get that as well. So they really want 9001 and ISO 20000 to work together. And I think that's the importance of how do integrated management system standards work together. It's very important.
Okay. The other one that I think we see a lot of customers considering using together is with ISO 20000 is ISO 27001, which is the standard for information security, which is hugely growing in popularity globally as well. So again, is there, Jenny, what's the relationship between the two?
It's been an interesting subject to look at. We established with our own market research in the 20,000 group that there was a strong interest in using both standards. They don't have the same scope, and obviously they've got a different focus, but there was this common interest. So we've actually been looking at ways of making it easier for the two standards to be used together. And I am now co-editor of part of the 27000 series, 27013, which is the integrated implementation of 27001 and 20,000 Part 1. And that's providing guidance on how you do it. And the thing I found really interested in the process is when you look at the two standards to start with, they look very different. All management system standards have something in common, but the approach looks very different. So I actually got very closely involved in mapping the principles and concepts of the two standards. The wording is different. The names given to processes or activities or events are different, but the ideas behind them are very similar, and similar enough that you could actually have a single management system and cover both. And that's, I think, going to be a very powerful approach, because we have the virtues of both standards but combine them in a much more usable approach. And a very interesting process. And I think we are going to continue, partly triggered by our market research, to that kind of easier used approach to standards.
Okay, thank you very much to both of you. That's a fascinating insight into the integration of different standards.